Hello everybody! How you guys doing? Welcome back to the... Whoa! I'm tiny. Welcome back to the Cherry Van Blossom Boutique. My name is Ren and your lovely fashion dolly. Girl, you're gonna have to excuse me if I sound a little sick. I don't know why, honestly. I don't know why. I was feeling pretty okay this morning. I was feeling really good. I actually was having the time of my life until about 2 hours ago, in which my body, my whole system, my whole operated system just said, "Let the bodies hit the floor." And so I am now feeling like garbage. My body truly said, just wait till the beat drops. And when it did drop, I dropped with it. I don't know why. I just suddenly feel really tired and really like I don't feel energetic for some reason. My energy feels like it's on the floor. And so I am trying to pick myself up, you know? I'm trying to, like a phoenix, rise from the ashes. I'm probably just gonna end up bed rotting after this. Because that's what I did. So, here's the thing, Chad. Here's the thing. Here's the dealio, folks. Here's the dealio, right? I feel that part of the reason why my body just decided to disconnect from everything was because I went out today. And you may be saying, but Renan, you said that going out was good for you. Yes, it is. Usually, it really is for me. I have a lot of fun going out, doing my little serial killer thing, people watching. You know what I mean? The normal thing that I do. Hello, Cleo. How you doing, sweetheart? Hold on, let me blow my nose. The model goes crazy. But yeah, sorry. Once again, sorry if I sound a little bit sick. I think I am. I don't know. My body's just like that sometimes. My body sometimes just decides, you know what? Are we feeling sick or not? What are we doing today? Is today the day? Because sometimes I just start sneezing for no reason, which I think it's just allergies. And other times it's just like, I wonder if it's actually a cold or are we just depressed? Which I do not know. I do not know. But anyway, as I was saying, I went shopping with my mother because I needed a new shirt. I needed something new, right? I needed a new look. I feel like I needed a new me. I needed a new personality. And because my sister's graduation photos for her college are tomorrow, you know, we're celebrating the fact that she's graduating, and her school made us paid a bunch of money just for us to get pictures. And you know what? We were not gonna let them go to waste, you know? I gotta look pretty nice for this. I gotta pull out my good gouges, you know? I gotta pull out my good underwear for this kind of situation. But I just didn't have any shirt that I actually wanted to wear, because most of what I have, unfortunately, are not things that are like appropriate for like a photo of that caliber. Because as much as I would like to pride myself as a fashion diva, fashion girly, if you will, we are poor. I am poor. I do not have the money to actually go out and buy a new fucking closet as much as I want to. So I just went shopping for a new shirt, just to feel something new, right? Just to feel new, just to feel fresh, just to get fresh. I walked into that store with such hopes, with dreams, with unprecedented amounts of delusion, thinking that I was gonna walk out feeling cunty, feeling like a new me. And all I did is walk out with 7 different diagnoses of depression and body dysmorphia. Because, girl, I have not gone to a store to try out clothes in forever. It's been actually forever. I have not gone into a store to just buy clothes because listen here, I just don't go anywhere, right? Most of the time, the clothes that I already have are things most people haven't seen yet, or just like, you know, the famous hits, the good picks, the good outfits that I managed to craft for myself while also not having a lot to choose from. And sometimes I just don't really want to think about it too much. So it just reminded me about how unforgiving fashion is to just people who are not a pole straight up and down, you know? Because, you know, I'm a lovely shape. That's what I like to say. I'm a lovely shape. I am very round, you know? I am not extremely fat, mind you, but I do have my own curves. I do have my own mathematical equations going on when it comes to my bodies. So, I really gotta start taking care of myself a little bit more. I ain't gonna lie, Chad. I need to start taking care of myself a little bit more. And I don't know if you guys have anything that you would like to like give me in terms of like advice when it comes to, hey, what about working out? You know, like any type of workout that I can do at home, because the thing that worked before was me just going out and walking, right? But I don't really feel like doing that anymore. Not really because I don't like walking. I like walking. Like I said, I have a serial killer behavior, and I just go out and watch houses and watch people do houses, you know? Like, I can find ways to entertain myself while perusing around. But there's just no time for me to go out into the world anymore. You know what I mean? Because if it's too early, is probably okay, but I just never wake up that early. You know, I never wake up at like 7, 5, 6, 7. Oh, God fucking damn it! I hit it here. I never wake up to an hour after 5 and at 7. You know, I don't wake up at that hour anymore, and I wake up more like 8 to 9. But by 8 to 9, the sun's already out, and it's already, you know, the sun is a deadly laser. I cannot. It's too hot. It's too hot. And then other times from like 7 to 9, which would be, you know, the sun has already gone down, but now it's too dark. You know, now it's too dark, and I could genuinely get stabbed. You know what I mean? I could get stabbed. So it's just, there's just no winning with me going outside. Like, the one thing I will have to do for it to work in my schedule is for me to actually wake up early. But, you know, with my sleep schedule, that is not possible. There's too much going on. I have FOMO, and most of my friends are active at night. So if I want to talk to them, I must go into the dark zone, you know? And so if you guys have any suggestions or like anything I can do when it comes to working out at home, I don't know, maybe you know, a Zumba class or something, or maybe you have YouTube videos that you watch. Because also the other thing is I need people. I need companionship, you know. I need to feel like I'm not alone on this type of shit for me to get it done. Because my sister was talking to me about it the other day, about the fact that I managed to get better when it came to my weight when I was, you know, in the midst of a mental breakdown. And the thing is that whole situation happened because I was like in a full-blown panic attack type of situation. I was really concerned about my health, and therefore I was like, you know what? If I walk now, maybe I won't die tomorrow type of shit. So I cannot be fueled from anxiety anymore, because if I do, it's not gonna be any lasting long term anyway, and it's probably not healthy for me to feel me wanting to lose weight because of anxiety, you know? I don't think that's a healthy coping mechanism. So I don't know if you guys have any suggestions about how to get down weight without actually going outside your home, and honestly, how to build an ass. I wanna have a shapely butt, maybe not super big, but you know, I wanna have something. I wanna have something to adorn the decor. You know, I wanna have something to adorn the entrance to the nether realm, if you will. So, you know, I wanna have a bigger butt. I just wanna have a bigger butt. I wanna have a problem that jeans don't fit because my ass is too fat. Not that jeans don't fit because my gut is too big. and I am not trying to be too skinny, by the way. I'm not trying to be a pole. What I'm trying to be is slim enough that clothes don't fit, as though I am trying to force meat out of a can, you know? Like squeezing toothpaste out of a tub. That's what I want. That's what I want for myself. The only thing is having enough discipline for me to stick to it. I know I can do it. I did it for a straight year and I got down a lot of weight. I just don't know how to do it now, you know, because as much as I would like to say that I'm getting better as I get older, I feel like my ADHD is becoming worse and worse and worse over time. The more I don't have a routine, the less I can actually control my mood, right? So that's a problem. And that's a funny thing about ADHD, you know, is like I don't like routines, but my body needs routines. I need a routine to be productive, but at the same time, I don't like routines because routines are weird. I don't like feeling like I'm forced to do something because then I'm not gonna do it even more, you know? So it's weird. It's weird. I don't know how to handle that type of shit. I probably need to go to a therapist, to be honest, but you know what? Who has money for therapy anymore? Let's be honest, Chad. Who has money for therapy? Certainly I do not. I certainly do not. And I'm pretty sure that neither of you do because you're watching my stream. Of course you're not gonna have money for therapy. Who do you think you are? I'm kidding. Anyway, Chad, what are we going to be doing today? What is the purpose of today's stream? Well, as you guys know, one of the things I used to do a lot, and I haven't done in a while, at least when it comes to live stream format, is to do a fashion review. Because I like to overanalyze things that don't matter to most people. You know, that's essentially my brand. I made a video about it. I made countless streams about me talking about shit that people don't care about. And that's fine, because that's just who I am. So, last time around though, oh, by the way, I reworked the actual. I reworked this because, you know, as you guys know, for the most part, when it came to this series of me doing fashion reviews for the Pokemon characters, I just had a screenshot of a table that I did forever ago, and you know, I never bothered to actually redo it because I was too tired and I just didn't care. You know, I feel like it was good enough, but I finally redid it. I had to redo it for the video, for the Pokemon Legends CA video. So, you know, it just kind of happened. So I finally redid it, and now it looks nice. Now it looks profesh. Now I don't feel shame every time that I have to set up one of these streams because, well, as it turns out, it actually does look nice when you put a little bit of effort onto things, don't you think, Chad? Don't you think? Anyway, so as you guys know, concept, motif, the characters do have concept and motifs. They have generally something that they're going for, and it can be good, well executed or not, you know, or a concept may be not good enough to sustain the design, and vice versa. A design may not be good enough to sustain a concept, you know, because there are some things when it comes to concept and design that sometimes concepts are too simple that it just feels boring, or concepts are too abstract for it to do anything, you know. Because like, how would you design a space clown pirate princess, you know? That is number one, that is too many concepts, and number two, it is hard to visualize, you know. And so whether the concept is good or not depends on how it's executed. It can work really good or it can work really bad. Type representation, well, obviously, Pokemon Gymleaders don't tend to be subtle about what type they are. In fact, most of the time, they tried being subtle and they fell flat in their face because when they tried being subtle, the design doesn't say anything. Because, and honestly, that's probably a good problem to have when it comes to Pokemon in general. That your designs for your NPCs are so iconic that if you don't go the extra mile for the gym leaders, they just kind of look like normal NPC. But yeah, to me, a gym leader has to stand out from the normal crowd. And color palette, because, you know, colors are nice. Colors can be nice and they can be complete fucking garbage. It really just depends. You know, there is one Elite Four, I think his name is Flint, who looks like Ronald McDonald, and that just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. I mean, yellow and red look nice together, but it's just because of McDonald's, it has a complete connotation of it being cheap, you know? So it really just doesn't matter. But yeah, it just works the same as it worked in my video, and it works the same as I've done in my streams, which is, you know, we're just gonna be talking about these things, ranking them, see if it works or it doesn't. But I'm gonna be completely honest when it comes to that is not the first one, is it? Wait, where is she? Where the fuck is this bitch? Oh, there she is. I'm gonna be completely honest, Chad. I did not have the time, because of the whole thing that I was talking about earlier. I did not have the time to do as in-depth of a research that I usually do. Because usually what I do for these streams and for me to get a better understanding of what they're going for with their characters. Because, you know, Nintendo's usually very purposeful with this kind of stuff. Not Nintendo, sorry. The Pokemon Company is usually very purposeful. They usually do a lot of environmental design and a lot with not only the design itself, but with dialogue and stuff like that of how we're meant to interpret these people, right? Because gym leaders are not only, like, you know, notorious trainers, they tend to be certainly at least a little bit of a celebrity, you know? They tend to do something for their community. They tend to be like community representatives. Like, they are the presidents of the HOA, you know? So they usually tell a lot. Oh my god! Kai! Girl, what you been? Hi guys, Shogi, how you doing, sweetheart? Thank you so much for the hydration, I appreciate it. Girl, I haven't seen you in forever. Where been you? Where been you? I know you watch me occasionally, but I just haven't seen you in so long. I think it's been like months since I last saw you. But thank you for the hydration, sweetheart. I really do appreciate it. Just doing things here and there. I can imagine. But yeah, by the way, the or live now and forever. Is it now and forever? Shit, I forgot. It's now forever? Oh no. The new or live games has a new demo that I'm gonna be playing after this stream. So I'm very excited about that. I love romance. I love romance stories. Although the way that they're going, because I did do a donation for the Kickstarter. Oh hi Salem, how you doing, sweetheart? I hope you're doing okay. Yes, we're gonna start talking about Justin pretty soon here. I'm just getting like my little preach out of the way. Ooh, your favorite gym leader of all times. Ooh, girl. The way I'm about to trash on this whole, but we'll get to it. I was in the beginning of Halloween School Day. I am going to order mine after tomorrow when I get paid. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna be honest. And this isn't no shade to GV and the people at GV Patch. I don't like it. I feel like it's a very basic hoodie, okay? It's very basic. And for me, merch has to look good. It doesn't have a... For me, merch that just says I'm a fan of X doesn't do anything to me. It has to be merch that is wearable when it comes to hoodies and stuff like that. So I didn't like it that much, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah. Anyway, you know what? Let's just get started. Hey Kuroni, how you doing, sweetheart? You're not late. I just been yapping. I've been yapping. I'm a little sick, so you know when I'm sick, I get needy, and when I get needy, I yap. So like I was saying, I usually tend to do a lot of research when it comes to these type of stuff, because Pokemon does a lot with the dialogue of how we are supposed to interpret their characters, because there's in a very real way they're celebrities, right? And gym leaders tend to be celebrities in some way, shape, or form. And even before they started, they being a gym leader didn't pay the bills anymore, and you had to get a second gig. They were still considered celebrities and community leaders. And certainly Jasmine is considered like that. Jasmine has been at least painted in the dialogue, for what I've seen, as a girl who is like very defensive, in the sense that she defends her community, she defends her Pokemon. In fact, the whole thing about her and the lore that comes out as you research about her is that she originally was a rock type gym leader, and because she had such loyalty to her main Pokemon, which was a Geodude? No, it wasn't Geodude. The pre-evolution of Steelix. Ornix? What's it called again? The Stone Serpent. The Stone Serpent. The pre-evolution of Steelix, she is a rock type, it's not a steel type. And when it evolved into Steelix, she decided to change it. Let's face it, it was just an excuse for Onix. I'm pretty sure it is too. Because Jasmine is from an era of Pokemon in which they didn't want to be that much at face value when it comes to their designs. Because in this era, which I'm pretty sure is generation either 1 or 2, more or less, generation 1 or 2, most of the gym leaders tend to be not only basic, but also they are supposed to contrast their type rather than complement it per se. Like, you know, Jasmine's whole thing is that she's soft as fuck. She's a softy girly. Her outfit is very soft. Her colors are very soft. And so you wouldn't really expect her to be part of the steel type conundrum, because steel tends to be associated with things that are cold, things that are geometrical, things that are sharp, for the lack of a better word. So Jasmine here is supposed to contrast that. However, do you know that she also shows up in the Cena contest? Really? Does she look any better? Does she look any better than this? Because I don't think she does. She looks good. The reason why I point this out is that for the context in which she was designed, like back in the time, the thing that she was meant to accomplish, I think she is okay, you know? I think she is fine. Nothing too outstanding. The problem is that now we know better. Now we know what real gym leaders look like. Now we know better other than this. And so, you will have to twist my arm. You will have to kidnap me. You will have to inject me with something very potent for me to actually think that this is a steel type gym leader. If anything, this shape right here, for her hair tufts, which I don't know how the fuck they're doing this. Her hair type, this little like shapes things, they used to be a lot spikier in the previous designs. They used to be spikier, so that could have at least hinted to the idea that she's a steel type gym leader. But because they rounded out so much, this doesn't look like steel anymore. And that is a big fatality when it comes to Pokemon designs in general. Because this reads to me, with the color palette and everything, this absolutely reads like a flying type gym leader. It reads like she's supposed to have a Togekiss. You know what I mean? So, it just doesn't look any... Like, it doesn't hit at anything. It doesn't hit at anything. Not even her massive forehead does something. Because, to be honest, it's just a little bit too soft. You know? Oh, they're more wing-like. I can see that. Yeah, it is wing-like. It is wing-like. And again, part of the point is that she's supposed to be softer. You know, she's supposed to be softer to contrast the type. But I just don't think it works that well. Because I feel like if you want to do something like that, you want to at least try to hint in another way what the type is. Because not only that, this outfit is just extremely basic. And listen, that's part of character design too. Character design doesn't always have to be like a huge show costume. That's actually a bit of a problem that I tend to have personally when my own designs, is that sometimes I focus too much in the costume aspect of my own designs that I tend to forget that these are supposed to be people, not just clothes. Right? However, this just comes across as lazy to me. This doesn't come across that any attempt was made into doing something interesting, you know? She kind of gives figure type specialist to me. I can see that too. because of the frills and everything. Although, again, because this shape is so wing-like, it just reads a lot like a flying type gym leader to me, which is a shame. Really, it's a shame. Part of the thing about Jasmine too is that she's called the steel defense girl or something like that, which I feel like. Sorry, oh god, I am fucking dying. Like I said, I'm a little bit sick. I'm sorry. I feel like if you're gonna give her that title, that is, you know, I think it's a very strong title, right? It kind of hints at what her, I guess, her fighting style is meant to be. I feel like they could have given her something maybe even more conservative, you know? Maybe show something that it's less cheery. Like, and not to say that she shouldn't be cheery, she shouldn't be happy, but like with the title Steel Defense Girl, I would think more like, hey, okay, we're making her stuff, maybe her dress is longer, maybe she's just wearing stuff that is really uptight just because, you know, she doesn't want to let anything get past her, you know what I mean? Maybe boxy shapes too. It doesn't have to be sharp, but maybe something boxy, because, you know, when you think of steel, you can think of like big sheets of metal which tend to be square-like, you know? So Jasmine overall just doesn't tend to communicate anything past cute girl, which I feel like it's a shame. Like, I understand the concept, but just because I understand the concept and I'm willing to give it grace for what it once tried to accomplish, this is the look of the remake, you know? This is the remake. This is hard gold, soul silver. So they had a real chance to do something better with her. They had a real chance to, you know what? She already has big spiky hair. Double down on it. Double down on it. Give her a lot of geometrical shapes. I would have tried to give her some kind of reflective type of fabric to wear, since the steel type is specialist. Shiny. It could be shiny, and because of her relationship with the lighthouse. Right, the lighthouse. I've completely forgot about that. That could be good, yeah. Like, maybe, or heck, give her jewelry. Like, give something to hint at it. And like I said, not every design has to be very to your face, you know? It doesn't have to be to your face. It doesn't have to be explicit. But there is a complete and total disconnect with what she's meant to be versus what she actually is. And that's a problem. That's the problem. It's called suspension of disbelief. At some point in time, I can no longer believe that this is supposed to be a steel type trainer, you know? You cannot convince me that this girl's favorite type is the steel type. You know what I mean? And maybe that comes across as me generalizing, stereotyping. But you know, certain looks have a little connotation to them, and it's hard to separate them. So it's giving Piojet trainer. The brown and orange doesn't help, or Halucha. Oh, you mean Pigeon? Pigeon. Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I could see a steel type trainer. I could see a fighting type trainer too, even, because that would be that would even give the whole you know, the whole thing of her being like this fragile looking girl, but she can actually whoop your ass. I feel like that would work better than just, you know, the steel defense girl. I don't think this bitch is gonna have my back. You know? I don't think this bitch gonna have my back. It doesn't feel like she's gonna defend me from anything. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm gonna give her high scores when it comes to concept, right? I'm gonna give her a high score, like it works well enough for what it was supposed to be. And for what it was supposed to be at the time, it was good. But Pokemon has evolved past subtle design. In fact, one of my favorite things about Pokemon and Game Freak in general is the fact that they're fucking crazy. They go fucking crazy with their shape language and their designs and how much they're willing to bend the rules of what's possible in a human body in service of storytelling, you know? So, for what it was, it's good enough. But for what it's now meant to be, and because this is the redesign of the remake, which made it even worse, I think it's just good enough. It was good enough for what it's supposed to be. She's just a normal girl who likes steel types. It's supposed to be a contrast, you know? It's supposed to be a girly girl with a big-ass fucking metal snake. That's what it's meant to be, and this doesn't really do it for me. Hear me out. Do you think her design could be analyzed in a different way for Ace plus Skarmory? No, because Skarmory is meant to be, as far as I know and as far as I throw it, and you guys let me know if I am wrong, Skarmory as a Pokemon and in general is meant to be a very aggressive Pokemon. That is as far as I know, right? Skarmory is meant to be a really aggressive Pokemon. Not only just in shape language, in general. I'm pretty sure that part of its Pokedex, it describes that it's just very aggressive. And even more with the Mega Evolution that they now gave it, because they have giant, really sharp talons, you know? And that just even creates even more of a disconnect from her, because she's not supposed to be aggressive. Like I said, she's a happy-go-lucky girl. She has a very defensive, quote-unquote, a very defensive playstyle. Got some dinner, gonna lurk for a bit while I eat. No worries, Sturek. How you doing, sweetie? By the way, everybody, please give a round of applause for Sturek, who, him by himself, alone, paid my bills. So as you guys know, I have a sponsor in which you can tip me for the videos that I do. I will open one for every video that I do. And Sturek literally just decided to be like, you know what? I have some money and you look like you need it, so I'm gonna give you $84. Because why not? Because, you know, for the love of life, I suppose. And so, I am very happy. I'm very happy. And I am very grateful. I'm very grateful to you, I ain't gonna lie. Because, you know, in a very real way, this served as a way for me to show my mom that I can do this. It's a way for, it really just served to a way as to prove to people that I can survive off of this. But I will say, Sarek, I fucking hate you for being $84, just $1 short of perfection. How fucking dare you? Anyway, pull up Halucha. Look, it's like they're having matching fits. I mean, I can. Give me 1 second. Halucha, where are you? I guess I can see it a little bit, I guess. If I squint, I can see it a little bit. Oh, well, you know what? Actually, the colors do kind of give it. The colors do kind of give it. You know what? You may be cooking something here. You may be cooking something here. La migra se llevó a lucha. You're so right. But yeah. Type representation, I'm sorry, she just looks like a fucking normal NPC. And once again, I feel like this is just a compliment to how good Pokemon design is when it comes to making every character feel unique in a certain way. Type representation, I'm sorry, she just looked more. She looks more like she looks like she should be a normal type trainer. Like, that's the only way that I can excuse the fact that she just looks so normal. She looks mad. She looks mad. But I'm sorry, type representation, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I wanna give it the you know what? I'm gonna give it because once again, she had a purpose to her at some point in time. Hey, the blandness had a purpose at some point in time, and I see it, but it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. So even if I engage with the original premise, I still think it's boring. So
very important person, I guess, for the time in which it was designed. Very important person. Color palette. That's something that she got working really well for her, which is her color palette. Her color palette is not bad at all, to be honest. I really enjoy it. The minty blue in contrast with the orange kind of creates a really fun dynamic of a character who looks very placid, who looks very soft and serene, but it's actually very cheerful, you know, because orange is the color of cheerfulness alongside with yellow. So it kind of does, you know, it kind of does hint at her passionate side, you know, at the fact that she is a little bad at loving, despite her being a maiden. So I think it works really well. The color palette works fine. It's fine. It's fine. I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. I intentionally left that last dollar own pace as someone else who had to finish it. So happy you can't just do sense in Ponza. Well, that's the funny thing. Pepper is the one that finished it. Pepper is the one that finished off the sponsor thing. And this funny thing is, because he paid just the dollar as is, right? When it came from sponsor taking a cut and also PayPal getting a cut, I received less than $1. I just received like 5 cents worth of Mexican pesos, which honestly was just like 1 to 5 pesos. It was so fucking funny because I saw the transaction on my fucking, oh god. Ugh. Sorry. I had a mosquito in my drink. A mosquito is just floating dead on my drink now. And I don't dare to drink it now. I don't dare to drink it. I feel so bad whenever this happens because I had to throw the whole fucking beverage away. No, I will not be hydrating. I will not be eating mosquito larvae. Thank you very much. I will not be doing that. You know what? You know what? I will not be doing that. I would rather hang myself. So yeah, there's a mosquito in my beverage now. So I don't have water no. Water is no longer needed. It is no longer needed. You know what? Who needs water anyway? I'm a doll. I'm made of plastic. All I do is put a cup in my face and pretend like I drink. Do you check the Terra leak to see if there was any changes in her design between the beta and the release of the game? No, I did not, because normally I don't look at concept art when it comes to... The thing about looking at concept arts about characters that have already been released is that usually I get angry. Usually I get angry because I prefer the concept art to what was released most of the time. So I'm not really a big fan of the concept art very much, but it wasn't really that different, you know? It wasn't really that different. Primarily and only because her concept is just really basic. She's just a basic girl. And that's literally what she's meant to be. It's just a basic girl. So, even if there was anything out there, I don't think it would have been that different, fortunately. Let me just blow my nose again. So yeah, let's do some math, chat. You know what, chat? How about you do the math for me for once? How about you help me out here for once? I'm kidding. But how about you help me out here? So, it's 6 points plus 4 points. That is 10 plus 8. What do you mean 17? What do you mean 17, Zerg? It's 18. Okay, we have 18. We have 18. Divided by 3. Divided by 3. Get out of here. Coronin, I'm going to ban you now. There you go. With math, not good math. Fair enough, I guess. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. I concede. I concede to that one. 6. Thank you, Cleo. So she gets a 6. You know what? Perfectly average for a perfectly average girl. Like herself. You know? 6 out of 10. She's an average girl. And I think she would enjoy it. I think she would be fine with this. Right. But anyway, Chad, that's my opinion. But what is your opinion, Chad? What does she deserve, actually? You can be as ruthless or as forgiving as you may wish. But what is her qualifiers? What is her score according to you, Chad? I know that Salem was here earlier, and I'm sure Salem is gonna be a 10 out of 10, which would be dead as wrong. But you know what? Everybody can be wrong. You can have your wrong opinions. You know what I mean? Can we give him a 7 out of 10 for having an Ampharos? I would if that was a Pokemon that was good. But it's not. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. I just have to say it because nobody else would say it. Because nobody else has the balls to say it. Oof, I'm out of here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't think. Okay, how about I make a compromise? How about we make a compromise? I enjoy Mega Ampharos. Is that enough of a compromise for you? I like Mega Ampharos. So I can give her a 6.5. How about that? Final offer, 6.5. Is that okay with you? All right, 6.5 then. Plus 5 decimals for the fact that she has a mega, that she could have a Mega Ampharos. All right, let's move on, chat. Oh, Mr. Daddy, he is the issues. Mr. Daddy, that's the issue. He is the issue. He is the problem. So, him and Roark, which is the rock type Gymleader that we talked about earlier, they are family. This is his father. This is the source of all trauma. This is the source of all evil. He even has a wife beater. He has a wife beater under that cloak, which is indeed, you know, indeed, things that are implying. Okay, listen, wife beaters is what you tend to what in the south of America you tend to call a tank top. But I like to think that maybe maybe he is that alcoholic father. But you know, he is the source of the trauma for R. I forget the name of this bitch. What's his name? Bulbapedia, help me out here. What is his name? I completely forgot his name. He's not really that relevant aside from being Roark's, you know, Roark's source of trauma. Byron. His name is Byron. I cannot detect the pun on Steel, by the way. I guess they already started really doing puns for a little bit. I mean, Roark's mom is nowhere to be seen, and dude's carrying a shovel. That's sus as hell. Listen, but that's just a theory, a Pokemon theory. The Pokemon theory of Roark's mom was killed by her father, and it was just killed by her husband. It reminds me of my bosses to say later on just to avoid the home situation. I think it's the beard. I mean, the funny thing is that's the point of him. That's the point of him. He left to get milk and never came back. He went to work to another gym in a different town, leaving Roark and his mother to fend for themselves. Which, bitch, I don't know. Pokemon Pearl and Diamond came out in the 2000s. You know, phones were a thing already. Did they not have phones in Pokemon? Like, letters, a Pidgey carrying letters, you know. There wasn't a need to cut complete communication, but at the same time, maybe he is just a disconnected father. You know what I mean? Maybe he is that person who just works to not see their family. Which I guess it would be fair. Part of my issue with him is that And this is a problem that happens with steel type in general. Hold on. A problem that happens with steel type in general and rock type and ground type, because they're very adjacent to each other, is that they tend to reheat nachos. They reheat their nachos a lot, you know? They recycle concepts between those three a lot, which I think might be a problem in a very real sense. Maybe we should be, you know what? Pokemon, hear me out. Pokemon, hear me out. Hear me out, okay? Pokemon, hear me out. Hear me out, Chad. You tell me if this is a bad idea or not. How about we just combine the ground and rock type together into one thing, and we let steel type be? Does that sound fine? Does that sound reasonable? Because that's the problem that they have with rock, ground, and steel, is that there is not enough distinctive things between them that it doesn't feel like they could be interchangeable. Because this could be a ground type trainer. This could be a rock type trainer. I mean, Roark certainly is a rock type trainer, and he's also a miner. You know? One of the things that I could see for him, just because he is in particular using a shovel rather than a pickaxe or something, is that maybe he's just, you know, hunting for the gold, or just looking for precious gemstones, I guess. I think panning for gold is better because gold is steel. Anyway, it's just a very basic concept. Like, most of what is there is carried by his actual personality rather than by what he actually is, which is, you know, a very cocky, stupid, and emotionally disconnected dad. You know? So, you see, the difference is that Roark is a coal miner and Byron is a ore miner. Okay. You know what? You may have got me there. You may have got me there. If it wasn't for the fact that the ground type has an ore miner that is executed 10 times better. That's the thing. That's the thing with the steel type. It's just, it doesn't feel like it does enough with the concept of steel. You know what I mean? We'll see it more as we continue going along in the review. You know? We continue going along with the review, and you're gonna see that steel doesn't know what it wants to be. There's a lot you could do with steel as a type that they just don't do. They seem to be like have a fixation to the simple stuff, which is not really good when it comes to it, when I think about it. But yeah, a point that what's it called? A point that Cronin brought up, which I think is very true, is his hair. His hair. They took notes. They took notes of what they did originally, what worked originally with Jasmine, and they made it a lot spikier. Now, my issue with the situation is that spiky things tend to, at least to me, I feel more it's closer to a ground type or rock type than a steel type, because, you know, when I think steel, I think slick. That's what I think. When I think steel, I think slick. I don't think jagged. You know what I mean? So, but you know, it works, and it also works for the type of character that he is, because he is indeed a very prickly person. He is not the most pleasant person to hang out with. You know? You could even make it more clear that he's steel he's steel instead of ground, of having to hold up pickaxe instead of a shovel. I don't even think that's necessary, honestly. I think what was needed is just maybe, you know what? Let's say he's a workaholic. He likes to work, which also, now that I think about it, looking at this, he definitely is a workaholic, and also maybe a hobo. Like, girl, get you some new pants. What the fuck? Why are these ripped? You must be rich. You're an ore miner, and you clearly had enough money to live, your son, and your woman just for a job. So, you know, what is doing? What is this? What's this? Girl,
you live like this? Anyway, so, you know, because he's a workaholic enough for him to, like, now that I think about it, he's probably really musky. You know, and now that I think about it, this bitch probably stink. You know? This bitch probably stink. He probably really do stink. Those pants, that underwear must be ripe, if you know what I mean. But yeah, he's kind of a hobo. He lives in a shut-in island in the middle of nowhere. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Once again, if he's a workaholic, in my opinion, if you wanted to give it, to make it closer to a steel type, it's like, heck, what if he has just like a pouch full of gold, you know? Like, he's so good at his job that he was needed to be transferred to somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and maybe his pockets are overflowing with gold of the gold that he has pined, of the gold that he has gotten over his work hours. You know what I mean? Because like, it's good enough. And I was thinking, hey, what about him having like ores coming from his pocket or something? But once again, ores, when they are unprocessed, they look like normal rocks. You know? Ores, when they're unprocessed, they just look like normal rocks, and then we have the problem again of like rock type, which is a problem. He shouldn't look like a rock type. He should look like a steel type. But anyway, he's also generally very unremarkable to you. Would a blacksmith hammer be better than a shovel? Well, the thing is that he's not a blacksmith. I was also thinking about that too. I am very surprised that there is not a steel type trainer that's a blacksmith. I'm very surprised about that, because you would think that it would be an obvious decision. But genuinely, but apparently it is not. So, you know. And so I don't think a blacksmith hammer or an anvil would work, because he doesn't process it. He just finds it and sells it, you know. But yeah, there's not very much him going on. Like, there's some nice references to Rourke, to him having the same uniform that Rourke has, except that it is dirty and he has probably not washed it in 11 years, you know. Also, considering what you said about his family, I found it funny that canonically he wanted to pass the Orborg gym to Riley until he turned down the offer and suggested to give the position to Rourke. I feel like that's even worse. That's even worse now that I think about it. Because not even your own son first. Damn. Did you impregnate that woman when you were young or what? Do you not want to have children? That's the reason why you hate Rourke so much? Like, what do you mean that you thought of giving your gym to a stranger over your family? That's wild. That's crazy work. Oh my god. Let me drink some water. Oh wait, no, I cannot drink this water, because this water has been infected. It has been infected. Hey Hime, how you doing, sweetheart? I roll up and this looks like he uses rock dust to style his hair. I mean, that's the thing, he doesn't shower. He doesn't shower. He's a hobo. And I feel like that's okay for his characterization. If he's genuinely just that much of a workaholic that he doesn't even change, I think it's okay. It's just something of the type representation doesn't really work for me, you know? But anyway, moving on to the actual ranking of this bed. So, let's just go on one by one. His concept is that he's a deadbeat dad, you know? His concept is that he's a deadbeat dad and he's a hobo. He doesn't shower. So, I think that's perfectly fine. He's wearing a wife beater. He has a 5 o'clock shadow. And he looks like he doesn't shower. You know? So, that is a 10 out of 10 if that's what you're going for. If what you're going for is to make a really, really, really hateable character, there you go. We don't see the sweat stains to the cape. I mean, it's a wife beater though. It's a wife beater. You wouldn't see pit stains. You would see his chest. You know, you would see sweat on his chest. We all know he sleeps in that poncho. Girl, like I said,
You know? Like I said, the underwear must be ripe, you know? The underwear must be ripe. Or maybe he's wearing... You know what? I would believe that he will go commando. Not gonna lie. It reminds me of Wolverine beer from the movies. Ooh. That's nice, actually. I enjoy that. We don't see sweat stains to the cape. Trust me, I've seen Sweaty Man before. On Wash Commando is a recipe for chafing. I mean, look at the man, though. Look at the man, though. Do you think he wouldn't be chafed? Do you think them pits wouldn't be darker? You know what I mean? He would absolutely be just go commando. Get this man some lotion. Honestly, he just needs a fucking shower, bitch. He just needs a shower. Because here's the thing. That's also the funny thing, and I'm really happy that you point this out, that he looks like he doesn't wash his hair. Once again, going hard on the hobo trope. But if you look at Roark, the way that Roark hair is, Roark's hair is smooth as fuck. Like that man, that man's hair couldn't hold a curl even if he tried. So this is generally just unwashed hair. He takes off his trousers, takes the dirt and raw stuff, and calls that a refresh. Oh god. You know what? If he did wear underwear, he will be the type of person who would just be like, you know what? I just turned it upside down. Sorry, I just turned it outside up, or inside out. Sorry, and that's a fresh new pair. Have you seen the men that do that, by the way? Jesus fucking Christ, Mary. I cannot believe that there is actual people in this world who think that just turning inside out their underwear is like a new pair of underwear. That's fucking gross, Mary. I shower every other day and people call me gross. No, that is gross. You know? That is fucking gross. The fact that I shower every other day doesn't mean that I'm recycling underwear, bitch. Anyway. You know what? Once again, though, the point of him is that he's a dirty hobo. And I think they're doing that pretty well. I think they're doing that pretty well. I can smell the BO for him from here. Type representation. Mary, I mean, it is as expected. And not even, because once again, we have a problem in which he looks like both a ground type and a rock type at the same time. But it's fine. As expected of a steel type trainer, I guess. It's not bad, but it's not good. Color palette. I mean, the color palette is just boring. The color palette, she's barely there. She's barely there. It does not exist. It's millennial gray type of shit. I appreciate the yellow that ties him to Roark. But Mary, I couldn't be more bored. I couldn't be more bored. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of neutrals personally, but it's fine, I guess. It's fine enough for it to not be a complete disaster. Oh yeah, I shower every other day too, but that saves my skin. In my case, what happens to me, if I shower too often, my hair just gets way too frizzy. You know? My hair does not absorb water that well. And so my hair looks good. You know, my hair looks good about 1.5 days in. You know, it's a period of like 5 hours in which my hair looks like a Pantene commercial before it gets too greasy and then I have to shower. So I feel like I need some type of build out for my hair to not look horrid, for my hair to not look like a fucking loofah. But if I wait too long, then it looks like it's just oil slick to my hair. It's just weird. I have a very specific routine for my hair to not look like hot as garbage. Do you think he could have been a rock type specialist while being the Orbok gym leader? Honestly, I don't think the location matters really. The location doesn't matter that much, because at the end of the day, what is steel and what are gems if not just fancy rock? You know, what is a steel and what is a gem if not just a fancy rock? You know. Anyway, Chad, let's do math. So that is 10 plus 6, that's 16. plus 6. That is 22, I think. 22? Well, bitch, I didn't go to school for math. I went to graphic design, where we didn't have to do math. We had to do geometry. It is. Okay, thank God. So that's 22. Now divided by 3. I'm making you do homework, Shark. Chat, I'm making you do math. I want to drink water, but I can't because it has a fucking mosquito on it. I probably should not have done that. I should probably not have done that with my voice. I'm okay. Jesus Christ. You know what, Chad? Allow me 1 second to go grab some water because I'm gonna be talking a lot. And I genuinely want to drink water, but I don't want to drink water infested with mosquito. So give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. And you guys give me, what is your personal ranking for this man? What do you think? Should he be higher than what we gave him, which is 7.3 according to Kuroning? We're just gonna round it down and we're just gonna put it at 7. So it's a 7. No? 7.3, 7 out of 10. What do you guys give it? While I go for water, you let me know. Anyway, 1 second. I'll be right back. Well, am I here? Am I alive? I don't know. I feel like I'm dead. Like I said, Chad, I'm a little bit sick today, so I apologize. I apologize for the weird voice and I apologize for the weird aura. But it's fine. I have an 8 because I dig his design. You're such an idiot, Kudonin. But I love you anyway. It's fine. You can be wrong. So, 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I guess it is perfectly functional, but not really that interesting. You know? And you know, I say all of those things about him being a hobo and whatever, and him not showering. But if I am desperate enough, I think I would. If I am desperate enough, if there's nothing else around, I would. I would. Anyway, let's move on. Oh! Now we skip really huge entire regeneration. Actually, he's not Elite 4, right? Is he Elite 4? I don't remember. Chan, help me remember. Is he an Elite 4?
Because if so, well, he's gonna have to go to the end. Because I leave the Elite Four to the end. Is he Elite Four? Yes, he is. Okay. I'm gonna move him to the end then. Because he is not supposed to be there. Okay. We go. Wow, this is a big jump. We go from just girly girl. We go to daddy wife beater who may or may not have murdered his wife. And now we go to nerd. Now we go to he's Elite Four too. Damn, bitch. Who's a gym leader then? I guess this bitch. I guess Felipe. Okay, Chad. Okay, Chad. I guess Felipe is the next gym leader, which is weird. I didn't know we have that little about. I guess Steel is just really that strong for them to be mostly just Elite Fours, huh? Not a gym leader, but whatever. You know what? You can suck my plastic mouth that I have within my legs. You can suck my toe, Kuronin, because it's functioning on a gym leader. Functionally is the same thing. It's a tight specialist. What a fucking ever. Anyway, Chad, not to self-promote of anything, but if you didn't know, I made a video talking about Pokemon Legends CA's character design when it comes to their tight specialist. Now, if you wanna know it more in depth, if you wanna know more about what my thoughts are with Felipe, I recommend you watch the video. You know, here's an unconspicuous link. Here's a link that, you know, may or may not have to do with what I'm talking about. So if you're interested in that, if you want to know what my full thoughts are on Felipe, I think you should watch that video. I go into pretty great detail about it. Anyway, I'm just gonna give it to you straight, Mary, which is not something I do very often. It's a 10 out of 10. This is the first and probably only 10 out of 10 that the Steel type gym leaders are going to have, because I feel like he's the only one that does something with the concept of Steel that is not basic. You know, it's Staples. He has a goddamn tire on his beard. He has a goddamn tire on his beard, and his hair is a tire too. I think they overdid it with him. I think it's just enough. I think this is what Pokemon is about, you know? Pokemon is about extravaganza, you know what I mean? Pokemon is about camping. It's supposed to be campy. It's supposed to be extra. So I like it when they go out of their way to do something unconventional, you know? So I really like it. And I don't know, I really like the fact that his clothes are held together by staples. I love it. There's something about it that feels just so unique. Instead of buttons, it's just staples. You know? Staples. And same with the chain. And same with the chain too. With the tie. I didn't mention this on the video because I didn't notice until after I finished it in the video. But his ties are little ingots of gold. They're gold ingots. You know, like Minecraft, gold ingots. Isn't that cool? I feel like it's good. The fact that his shirt also has a pattern, like chainmail, is good too. It's just Steel. You can tell that he's a Steel trainer, but it's not too much to your face. That's how you do subtlety. You know, subtlety. I like the metal hair highlights, but I don't understand how it works. There is such a thing as hair jewelry. Hair jewelry is actually a thing, and there's a lot of men who actually cultivate a beard. You know, men who cultivate, who grow, who ferment a beard. They actually tend to decorate it a lot with this type of things. So I'm pretty sure that it's just supposed to be like a hair/beard jewelry. And honestly though, it could genuinely also be, it might be a piercing, you know? It might be a piercing that he has inside his mouth. Those exist. People literally straight up have holes in the side of their cheeks because they want to look cool like that, you know? You know, you guys know how there's like people who
widen their earlobes, you know, like they stab their ear and slowly make the hole progressively bigger, right? Until they have like rings on them. Which by the way, if you don't watch those things, they smell awful. One time I was in a plaza with my mother. We were shopping around back when we had money, right? Back when we had money, and we were actually able to go out without having to worry about what the fuck happened. What the fuck is screaming? Oh, it's my sister. Whatever. Back when we had money and we were able to go out, one time I went to a Hot Topic, right? We went to a Hot Topic just to see what was going on. And there was this dude who had gauges, right? Yeah, they're called gauges, sorry. There was this dude who had gauges, massive gauges. And every single time that we walked past him, he smelled like hot ass. You know? He smelled like ass. It was such a bad odor. And we figured out pretty much instantly that it didn't have anything to do with his actual body. It does not smell like common BO. Do you know what it smelled like? It smelled like humidity. You know what happens whenever you don't wash your belly button? It smells humid and putrid. And when you don't wash these bitches, when you don't wash gauges, they smell the exact same. So if you have gauges, take them out and wash it. Not because it's open, it doesn't mean that you don't have to scrub there. Wash that shit, Mary. Wash that shit. It smells awful when you don't. Anyway, sorry for the rant. Sorry. The word gauges just unlocked something in me. It just unlocked a very traumatic story that I had to share. I had to trauma bond with you, chat. Those are normally beads, aren't they? Yes, they are normally beads, but I think this is what they are. I think it's just supposed to be beads or like hair decorations. I don't think it's meant to be like piercings. If it could be piercings, that would be radical. I think I would enjoy that a lot. I feel like I would like that. But also, the point that I was making with the gauges is that there is such a thing as gauges, as like people who get gauges for their cheeks. You know, people literally straight up make holes in their cheeks just to look rad, I guess, which I don't think it's a good idea. It doesn't seem like it will be particularly hygienic or, you know, it feels like it will be dangerous to your health. I don't know. We have medical professionals here. Guys, Leo, Hime, you guys are the medical professionals in the chat. We're taking advice from you right now. If you make two holes as a modification from your body, you make two holes like gauges on your cheeks in which you can see your teeth. How does that impact your health? Because I feel like it would be very easy for you to get infections, no? I feel like it would be easy for you to just get infections on the throat. They eat a lot of food. Seafood. Get out of here, Sturg. Get the fuck out of here and never fucking come back. How fucking dare you? You're so stupid. Oh my god. Honestly, I do not know how they eat. With their mouth closed, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they eat, but I know that that is a thing. I've seen it before. It looks horrid. It looks straight up out of a horror movie, you know? But yeah, anyway, if you want to see my full opinion on Felipe, watch the video. Watch my video. The genius of Pokemon Legends CA's character design. You're gonna enjoy it. I put a lot of work on it, so yeah. Not gonna dangle too much on this one. Okay, so now we're on to the Elite Four, which is surprisingly there is more Elite Four than just Gymleaders. I am surprised that there's only 3 Gymleaders technically. And before nobody says anything, because I know you guys are gonna say anything, because you guys are fucking annoying, and you guys want to prove me wrong, I know what Felipe is not a gym leader. But you know what? He's functionally a gym leader. So fuck you. Well, he's not a gym leader. Sorry. I get triggered with that because I get triggered with that wording, with that rhetoric. You know why? Because Pepper was so fucking annoying about it.
I'm not gonna pull my punches. Pepper was so fucking annoying about the fact that they weren't gym leaders. That the fight specialists from Pokemon Legends CAs were in gym leaders, despite the fact that they're functionally gym leaders. But you know. Sorry, anyway. So if that's the case though, if now we're into the Elite Four, now we can actually go in chronological order, which would mean that Mr. Steven Stone goes first. Steven Stone, aka the Tony Stark of Pokemon. I'm pretty sure that Steven Stone, that Tony Stark is actually supposed to be his inspiration. Except that, unlike Tony Stark, Iron Man, Steven Stone is a good person. Steven Stone is a good person. He's a good person. You know? Steven Stone is a good person. He is not a hypocrite. He is not a bastard. Speaking of Stark, you forgot one type specialist. Who? If you're talking about the chairman, and if you're talking about what the fuck is his name? Peony, I think. I think their name is Rose and Peony. Yeah, no, I'm not counting them. They're technically villains per se. I'm not counting them because I plan to make a different video about villains. You know, I plan to make a different stream / video about the character design of villains in Pokemon in general. And President Rose technically is a villain. Not Peony, but you know, I don't really count Peony. Peony doesn't scream. The thing about those two is that they don't seem like type specialists. No. Peony and Rose don't really seem like type specialists, so I cannot. And really, they're not presented as such. You know. Neither does Jasmine. Okay, but Jasmine has that thing going against her. You know. Jasmine has that thing going against her. It's not a good thing. And unlike Jasmine, Rose and Peony are not presented as type specialists. You know. They're not presented that way. Therefore, I'm not really counting them. But if you want me to count them, I think Rose would probably get like an 8 out of 10. Primarily just because I just don't think that he's that interesting. You know? He's not really that interesting. And Peony would get probably something closer to an 7 to 8. Primarily because Peony once again runs with the same problem that Byron tends to have, which is, okay, rock climber. Guess what? He could have been a rocks type trainer. Once again, it's the problem that Steel has just in general. They don't lean in that much into what Steel type could be. They default into basic things. You know what I mean? Anyway, Steven Stone, Mr. I am obsessed with stones. Mr. He might as well be a bird because apparently he stops at anything and everything to just collect a pretty stone. Apparently that's something that he has in common with Jasmine. Because Jasmine and a bunch of rock type gym leaders tend to collect rocks. Because you know, apparently they're bird adjacent. But the thing that separates Steven from that is just he in particular likes pretty rocks. He likes the shiny things. And as you can see, that's pretty much represented pretty well from the get-go. My man's is basically wearing armor. He'll be widened if he switched places with Steven Universe. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. He will be the terror. He will be the terror of the diamond world. No, bitch. He will be Greg. He'll be Greg. He will be fucking them stones. But anyway, Mr. Steven Stone. Once again, as I said before, Steven Stone is Tony Stark. That is the reference. Steven Stone is the magnate. He is the president of a mega corporation. The guy who is supposed to, by all means, be the good guy. Mr. President. You know, an example to lead by. That's the type of character he is. He's supposed to be the role model to your trainer. Think about it like All Might and Deku. You are Deku, and Steven Stone is All Might. So he's a role model. Therefore, I think, as far as that goes, not to be nitpicking, but he's his president's son. Oh, suck my cock. Listen, he's gonna be president at some point. He's gonna be president at some point. You know? You know? He's gonna get it at some point, and also he probably... Now that I think about it, isn't his best friend... Oh, what's his name? I know that in Spanish is Pluvio. Shit. What's the name of the water-type gym leader who's a gay guy? Wallace, thank you. Thank you. I know that his name in Spanish is Pluvio. Thank you, thank you. Wallace, yeah. He's best friends with Wallace, which I'm pretty sure that led to a lot of experimentations between them. But here's the thing, folks. I think Steven Stone is a very good way to balance a character looking like a normal person and not a parody with them being a certain type of specialist. You know what I mean? Because this is what we talk about, and the suggestion that Kuronin had for Jasmine of giving a character shiny, reflective stuff for them to look like the part. And I mean, from the get-go, Steven is wearing rings. He's wearing rings off his ass, because you know what? He has that money. He has that money to spend on rings. His cuffs are made of metal, and they also resemble gears, which is, you know, gears is very much a metallic thing. It's very much related to machinery, and that's what we think when we think of steel machinery. But they're gears. The inside of his coat, it's also reflective. It's probably made out of satin or something like that. So it's a very reflective thing. And his shoes even have plating. His shoes even have like steel plating that is, you know, molded onto his shoe. It looks like a piece of jewelry. And even his belt straight up just looked like it just was made out of metal. His belt just looked like he grabbed a metal coil and just said, you know what, this will do. This will do type of shit. Same with the buttons. The buttons on his bag, made out of metal. So, if you want to make a design that looks like they are supposed to be like, you know, just your roundabout, president, rich-looking guy, and not being like, hey, maybe he has to wear pants of steel, of armor. Just small things, just small little things that hint to the thing that they're meant to be. You know what I mean? They cook with the ores decide, holy moly. I know, right? Because Steven Stone actually used to look pretty bad. He used to look pretty bad. One thing that I can really appreciate about Steven Stone, though, is despite how put together and polished and as much of a, you know, his name is Stone, and his role in the story is supposed to be a very reliable character. A character that you can turn to whenever there's problem going around. Whenever Team Rocket is, you know, going about stealing Pokemon and killing people, which they used to do, but now they don't. He's there to, you know, make the situation better. He's there to make the situation better. But despite of how reliable he looks and how solid he looks, which is no pun intended, Mr. Steven Stone, he still has spiky hair, which is a very distinctive connotation when it comes to the male trainers in Pokemon, particularly when it comes to the MC. The male trainer that you can play to in the game usually has spiky hair, and spiky hair tends to have a very a very specific connotation with like boldness, bravado, things that you usually see in shonen protagonists, right? So, in a very real sense, you can tell that Mr. Steven Stone, his name is so funny to say in full. I'm sorry. I know I've said it so fun. I said it so much, but Steven Stone just rolls up the mouth pretty well. So I will keep saying it. Anyway, Mr. Steven Stone has not lost that like childlike personality he used to have. You know, that young bravado, that young boldness, braveness that usually the male character tends to embody, the male trainer tends to embody. And I feel like that's a very nice way to keep him grounded, you know? Because it's very easy. It's very easy to look at a character like this and with his inspiration, for example, being Tony Stark, it's very easy to make a millionaire that looks and acts and feels like an asshole, even if they're not meant to be one, you know? Because, you know, eat the rich. The rich are not supposed to exist, but, you know, anyway. It's very easy for one to go that way, to make a when you make somebody who's very adorned like this, who is very extravagant, it's very easy to make them pompous. It's very easy to make them egocentrical. But with his hair, with his hair being sort of wild, not necessarily unkept or out of line, but, you know, purposely shaped like this, he not only does that make him look young, but it prevents him from looking like an asshole, and he looks approachable, you know? He looks very approachable. He could have very well have his hair be slicked back to, you know, serve even more the fact that he's a steel type trainer. But the fact that it is not, the fact that it is just wild and certainly free, makes you feel like he's not an asshole, you know? That he still has a little bit of edge on him. You know, Unk still got it. Unk still got it, and Nintendo still got it. And I will certainly be pleased to touch the stone. You know what I mean? If Pepper was here, he would say that he kind of looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh character with those details. He only needs a Millennium item and a vodka. Honestly, Steven Stone will play Yu-Gi-Oh. You know? He also looks kind of like the previous design. They probably just redesigned him with that thing in mind. That's also the thing. That's also the thing, right? When it comes to character design, there's a lot of things that one can miss, which is there's a certain dichotomy that you have with character design, which is you either make a design meant to contrast or complement. Usually, it's contrasting. What you contrast is usually their appearance versus the personality. But when you don't really do that, or when that is not, when it's not intentional, it can come across as an amateur thing. You know, it can when stuff like this is not intentional, it can genuinely come off as you just don't know what you're doing. So I can see why they redesigned him to make him look kinder, because he's meant to be really kind. He's meant to be your shonen protagonist. So, I rest my case, Your Honor. I rest my case. I think his design is really good. I don't think I have anything to say that could be more perfect, you know? He's just really good. Your Honor, he's just good. He's just that good. He is that girl. He's that girl. So to me, he certainly doesn't look like a normal NPC. His concept of motif is perfect. You know, rich guy who's actually kind of kind and very dependable, but also, you know, has a little bit of a, you know, that childlike innocence. You know what I mean? And color palette, they save it. Color palette could be really boring with the fact that he's just wearing a suit. But the purple accents, which once again, purple tends to be richness because purple is one of the rarest colors on Earth. You know, red, highlighting his passion, his bravado. And just in general, the metal does a lot for it to look like a rich person. It does a lot. It does a lot to bring it together. This color combination could look disastrous, but the fact that it's just so desaturated compared to his hair and his skin, it just makes it work really well. I really enjoy it. So it's a 10 out of 10 for Mr. Steven Stone. Steven Stone is a 10 out of 10, Chad. 10 out of 10. Jesus Christ, I cannot breathe. Oh, I am so stuffy. My nose is so fucking stuffy. One sec. I hate being sick. Hi, Pablo. How you doing, sweetheart? How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the hydration, Kuronin. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. When it's passing stuff to unclog your nose. No, because that doesn't really help me. I could get vapor rub, but whatever. I'll be fine, Chad. I'll be fine. If I die, at least know that I died doing what I love. Talking to people and looking like a fucking schizophrenic in front of my family. I did what I love. Yelling about men. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. I don't know what the name of this bitch is, because I forgot. What is his name? Hold on. Let me look it up. Wickstrom. Sounds German. Wickstrom. It sounds very German. I don't know why. That sounds German to me. It sounds like it doesn't make sense. So it feels like German. Okay, so Wickstrom. Funnily enough, I am pretty sure that his design predates that pseudo legendary that came on Alola, the dragon. What's his name? Komodo? Como. I'm pretty sure that his design predates Komo, but I think it's also meant to be like a reference. It's meant to be like, you know. Oh God! Oh Jesus! I'll never make it this time. This is the end. Anyway. We're being raided. Hello, Eva. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while, sweetheart. How you been? How's it going? Hello, everybody. My name is Renan, your lovely fashion dolly. How's it going? Hope you had a good stream. What were you up to? Remember, if you need to go rest, if you need to go decompress, because I know that streaming is a very hard job, because you know, you gotta be pumped, you gotta be entertaining the masses, and sometimes you don't feel like entertaining the masses, but you gotta force yourself anyway, just like I'm doing right now, because I am sick. But I hope you're having a good day, and if you need to live, go ahead, it's okay. Oh, I'm fucking dying, girl. But I hope you're having a good day, and I hope that whatever you stream, it was good. Technically, it does. Even in game, Legends CA references his armor similarity with Como from Legends Arceus. Yeah, like I think this was supposed to be like a tongue-in-cheek stuff and stuff thing, like because you know, Alola came after X and Y, so I think it makes a lot of sense that they were like, you know what, let's just hint at it, you know. Not Como, Kamado. Oh, same. I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is supposed to be Como. Just because of the color palette and the way that the stuff kind of lines up, I think it's supposed to be Como. His armor is Galarian or something. What is what they said? So, girl, wait, everybody, shut up! Shut up! Game Freak, I have a $1 million idea that probably people already thought about, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you anyway. Chad. You see me right here, right? Are you looking at me? What about a Legends game that is set on Galar, but I need to make this smaller. But it's like a past type of thing, like Legends Arceus again, but it's medieval. You get Pokemon Legends Galar, but it's a medieval. It's knights, it's princesses, it's dragons. How's that sound? How's that sound? I'm pretty sure it's pretty good, right? It's good. You know what? I require that you pay royalties if you do that, Game Freak. I require money, or else I will sue and probably lose. Because you have money. I have good news, Roland. Is that wait? Are they gonna make a Pokemon Legends CA based on Galar? Because if they do, I am so happy for that. I will be so happy. I don't know. There's something about it. Got right into something like that. It was bleak. Ooh. Well, I am consider me excited because I really like that idea. Anyway, going back to Wickstorm, I will say I appreciate that they did something a bit more original than what they did with the older characters that we've seen so far. Like, we had a Magnate that was Steven Stone, and that was like the first real departure from just rocks and ground and stuff like that.
And they tried a different angle with this one, which is steel type trainer. Well, armor is made of steel, so why don't we make a knight character? And you know, Wickstorm, which somebody made a pun earlier, which weak strong. Look at what they did there. He's weak but also strong. I don't really know what that has to do about, because honestly, the game has very little reference towards him. I'm pretty sure that he's one of the characters that we know the least of, because he didn't appear in Legend CA except for like his armor pretty much. And in the game itself, X and Y, there's not really that much of a reference of him. He's just kind of there. So there is nothing much going on with him when it comes to him just being a classic knight, swearing for his oath. So, for that very same reason, he looks kind of boring. Like, once again, I appreciate and I really like the fact that they went like, you know what? We have steel type trainers. What about just doing a knight? Pretty sure that that's good enough. It's interesting enough. But it's just boring. I'm a little bit bored. Because like the design in itself is not even that interesting, you know. Armor doesn't have to look like MMO gear, because that's a mistake that a lot of armor does in other games and genres. Is just they make it too elaborate, and I appreciate that it's armor that can actually protect you, right? Except for the crotch is a little bit exposed. I don't know why we needed to have a dick window right there, but apparently we needed one. But it is armor that actually looks like it could protect you. So I am generally satisfied with the way that he looks. At the same time, though, it's just a knight is also kind of predictable. A knight is sort of predictable for a character like for a steel type trainer. So I'm not too jazzed about it, but I'm not too mad about it either. I mean, it's better than what they had before. Also, in the anime, Wickstorm owns a castle-like facility in which you can train your Pokemon. That's how Ash got his Farfetch to evolve into Sturledge. Oh! You know what? That makes a lot of sense. Do we ever get an explanation as for why he's obsessed with knights? Because the thing is, X and Y is certainly... X and Y is certainly modern. X and Y is probably one of the more modern games that we ever gotten in Pokemon. So I know that they have natives because the dragon types, particularly Iris, and I don't remember the name of the dragon type Elite Four, are, you know, they are natives, which is weird because does France have natives? Now that I think about it. Because like X and Y is supposed to be France. It's supposed to be the French. And so now that I think about it, why do they have like Native American looking people in France? Is there an explanation for that? As for why Iris and her tribe are there? They're draconids. Okay, so they're actual dragon people? Is that what you're saying? Interesting. I guess I didn't really think about that, huh? I think he's royalty of something. I don't know. If he was royalty, I think that his armor would be a lot more decorated. Something like that. The explanation is really complex. Oh, okay. Interesting. So I guess they're playing with fantasy, the medieval, and the modern, which I guess is interesting enough. I guess. But yeah, there is just not a lot about to say with Wickstorm. Like, I can assume things. You know? I can assume things. I can assume that he is definitely jaded. This is a man that has seen some shit. I mean, look at this face. Which I just realized he has the prettiest eyelashes I've ever seen. Look at this face. This is a man who's jaded, a man who has seen war, a man who has been in fights. The fact that he's that his armor is like for steel is actually rather dull. It means that it probably has some battle damage. It's been worn for a while. It's a thing. It also can, when you see metals that are like this dull, particularly for a knight character, it tends to signify that they're jaded in some way, shape, or form. That they have been seasoned, they have been experienced. So, in a very real way, I can guess that his personality is just someone who is really jaded. Somebody, somebody who, perchance, is kind of nostalgic for the olden days, you know, who perhaps is already a retired knight and he's just teaching other knights type of shit. And just the usage of the brown leather, a brown belt and brown belts for his boots as well, his boot armor, his boot coverings. It just kind of makes me feel like he's also kind of practical, you know. He has practicality to him, rather than it just being completely decorative. You know what I mean? Because once again, it could be really easy to go like MMO gear and make him and make him really, what's it called? And make it really elaborate with the fact that he's royalty. But you know, he seems very down to earth. He's probably a retired knight. By the way, I saw your comment, but I forgot to say hello. Hi, Andrew. Ugh, bitch. I can't breathe. I cannot breathe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm fucking dying over here. Give me 1 second. Hey, Aaron. How you doing, sweetheart? How's it going? Oh. Why am I sick? I hate it here. I'm going through that part of being sick in which you are hot, but you're also kind of cold type of shit. And I hate it. Because that means that that if I take off my shirt because it's really hot, I'm gonna get cold immediately. And vice versa. If I put my shirt on, I'm gonna get hot immediately. I hate it. I hate it. I hate being sick. Jesus. I get sick once in a blue moon, and when I do get sick, it really does come down. Hold on, I'm putting my hair up again. Wait. That's why I like him. I mean, I can see why. That's a very this type of character has its appeal. And it's also also one thing that I can also assume with the fact that his eyelashes are pretty long and just his eyes seems pretty like lit, is despite the fact that he is jaded and an unexperienced man, he might also take joy in inspiring the younglings, you know, in teaching. He might take joy in, you know, he's very proud of what he accomplished type of thing. So that is mostly just conjecture. Like I said, he's one of the characters that we know the least of. You know? He's one of the characters that we know the least of. We really don't know that much about him. But for his concept and what it is, I mean, it's really good. There's nothing more that you can ask from a knight character. Perhaps aside from the fact that maybe he could have an actual helmet. But there's really nothing wrong with it. Therefore, I think it's really good. When it comes to type representation, I mean, it's the most interesting we've seen. That is certainly it. And the most interesting we've seen in a while. A knight for a steel type trainer? Groundbreaking. But at the same time, it's better than everything else. So, most other characters are just kind of boring, so it's fine. And colors go, and the color palette, I mean, the color palette's fine. It's gold and silver, which usually you never mix because, well, they don't tend to look well together. But they give the gold a bit more of a brass color. So that tends to work better with the color tones of silver, which tends to look a bit more cold. And the leather also kind of complements it really well, you know? I don't understand the gold star on his forehead, but you know what? I'll take it. I think the gold, first of all, the gold star is his hair. I don't know if you know this, but this is his hair. That is his hair. That's part of his hair. But but also, I think it's also, if he is supposed to be a royal, if he's supposed to be a prince, I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be a standing for a crown. I'm pretty sure that that's what it's meant to be. It's supposed to be a crown, like some type of ornament that resembles a crown. It's also a nice detail from Pokemon Legends CA is that we know him and Darsna are still the only remaining members of Kalos Elite Four. What happened to the chef? Because the chef also had a knight motif to him. He looks like a chef and a knight, you know, the water type one. What happened to him? Did he die? He got taken out back and shot straight in the face like they did with Clemont? Which by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is some dialogue. There is some dialogue in the game about the fact that something happened to Clemont. They imply that something bad happened to him and they never elaborate. They never elaborate about what the fuck happened. They just say, they got him good. And you're like, what the fuck do you mean that they got him good? What happened? They got him. What do you mean they got him? What happened to him? Clemon just literally got shot. He got taken out back and he got fucking sent to the moon. I'm really curious. What is that meant to be? What happened when they got him? Was he adopted by aliens? I don't know. Did Mega Florges just like shot him in the back? Just gave him some back shots and went back or something? Oh. I just really want to know. I really want to know what happened to Clemon. He wanted to improve his cooking skills or something and he bailed. Ooh. Damn. You know? At least it's better than Malva. Malva had to get out of there because, you know, Team Flare fell down and she along with it. So Malva escaped. She went to Cancun and never came back. But yeah, he's another 10 out of 10. The Elite Force are making up a lot for the lack of the gym leaders. Because technically the gym leaders are good, you know. The gym leaders are good, but they're not that good. We have 3 more. Damn it. Let's get tired. Sorry, chat. I'm sorry that I'm coughing a lot. I don't know what's wrong with me. You see, Clemon invented the Rotom decks, which serve as the base for Rotom Tech. He patented the technology, but the higher-ups from Slivco and Pokemon and Poketech couldn't let that slip from them, and so they got competition out of their way. Wow, that's dark, bitch. That's dark. Capitalism goes at it again. Whoa. I like that headcanon though. I like that headcanon. They were like, you know what? He must not survive. Kind of like the same thing. The same thing with like getting like free healthcare and stuff like that. Companies that get free healthcare, they just get shot. Just wait, this could be canon. Okay, but what happened to Bonnie then? What is she doing? Like, if they got Clement, if Clement really got shot, if Clement really got taken out, is Bonnie out there in like a revenge blood? They got her too. No, you know what? I prefer the revenge blood. They got her brother, and so she had to go out there, become a detective or something to get revenge for her brother. I like that idea. Anyway, so I forgot what his name is. What is his name? Mullane. Okay, Mr. Mullane, Mr. White Man, Mr. Tourist on an indigenous country that doesn't really want to be bothered, but you know, it is what it is. Well, technically Hawaii is a state, but let's be honest, Hawaii should be its own country. Hawaii should be its own country because it has nothing to do with the United States. It's so far away from the United States, but apparently it's just a state of the United States. But you know, Hawaii. Okay, so the thing that's interesting about Mr. Mullane he's a tech guy. He's your average. You go to the tech shop to get your computer checked, and this is the guy that assists you. He's your customer service. This is the guy that probably helped build your PC. This is the guy that works at Blockbuster and gets extremely underpaid because they don't respect anyone who has any knowledge about machines and the way that they work. You know, he's an underpaid employee of Blockbuster. I like that they use the tech guy for the steel type specialist. I like it too. It's like, once again, it's just one of those things that brings a lot of flavor out of a concept, you know? Because like, think higher, you know? Think higher about what a steel type trainer could be. And certainly, tech, machines, computers, they are made out of steel. The computer pants is mostly made out of steel. Steel and plastic, but still. And what else could be better for a steel type specialist than a tech guy? I think that's just perfect. I think that's just perfect from the get-go. I also really like the fact that he is not only visibly old. Because here's the thing, Chad. Pokemon never shies away from making old characters. But the thing with Pokemon is they do either one of two things. Either they make an old person who's not really that old, or they make a person who looks like a whisper away from death. They make a character who looks like they're going to fall over and become dust. You know? So there's usually never really that much in between of a person that could be like on their 40s, like late 30s, early 40s, late 40s to early 50s. You know, because you don't look that old when it comes to 50s. You know, once you get into 60s is when the shit starts hitting the fan. But, you know, I appreciate that they make a character who looks visibly old, but not old enough for you to be like, okay, grandpa, let's go back to bed, type of thing. You know? One detail I really like dig is the Texan tie that made with wires or something. It's not... Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be called a carbon. Hold on. Let me check that. Let me double check that. Let me check my sources. Carbon. No, that's not a carbon. What is this called? This tie has a specific name that I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. What is this called? It has a name and I forget what it is. Abolo. This is Abolo. This is Abolo, which is certainly Texan. It is certainly a character that is pretty much from the south. And, you know, because Alola is based on Hawaii, I'm gonna guess that this man is American. This man is American. He comes from the land of eagles. So I wouldn't put it past him for him to be Texan. I wouldn't put it past it that that's supposed to be the explanation. Do we have a Pokemon? Wait, actually, we do. We do. What's the name? New York. Unova. Unova. Unova is supposed to be America. So, you know, he's from Unova, apparently. So, yeah. You know, it's the little thing. It's little things, little details, because at first glance, you wouldn't be able to tell that much that he's supposed to be a steel type trainer, because a tech guy doesn't really have that big of a look to him. Like, this could be as much of a tech guy as he could be just a teacher. You know what I mean? But the glasses and the metal bolo does do a lot to just like inch him closer. Same with the jacket. The jacket, for some reason, the color in particular really screams tech guy. Particularly because if you ever been in a computer room, if you ever had like a computer lab, like when you were growing up in school or whatever, you know that those rooms are cold as fuck. Those rooms are really cold. So you always wear a jacket when you go to computer lab classes, you know? But yeah. It's really fun. I think it's simple but very effective. And I really enjoy it. Where's my nose? Oh. I really enjoy it.
Actually, you know, but it's just in New York. There's another American regions like Ore. I never heard of that region before. Is that from like a side game? Where is that? Where this one is that from? Also, by the way, I can genuinely appreciate just the fact that he's just bones. He's just bones. He would literally fall over. You touch him and he shatters. I like that. Once again, just going back with the idea, you're like, yeah, this is an older man. An older man that is losing a little bit of bone density. But it's okay. You know what? It's okay. Because I will still kiss him. He's really cute. I really like him. So yeah. Blonde guy. I love this man. This man is so cute. He really did do everything well. Concept and motif, a tech guy, pretty represented, pretty well done. I really enjoy it. Type representation. I think it's interesting. I think it's missing a little something. Because this particular concept relies on people's recognition. I don't know how to say this. It's a very specific section of design in general. They teach you about preconception. When you're studying any type of design, they teach you a lot about preconception, what people think when you tell them a word, or you give them like a signal, like when you see a red square sign, you usually think that's the signal to stop. You know, it doesn't have to have a hand, it doesn't have to say stop, but because it says that, you know, because you know the shape and you know the color, you know that this is a stop sign, even if it doesn't have anything written on it that says stop sign. You know, so it relies a lot on the audience precognition of this specific type of guy. Because if you never interacted with this specific type of tech guy, wiry, kind of old, kind of nerd looking, if your tech guy doesn't look like this, you're probably not gonna recognize him as a tech guy. You know what I mean? So it relies on a universal preconception, but it's not that universal. You know, it's not that universal. So I cannot give him full points on the type representation because it generally relies a lot of you knowing this particular type of tech guy. You know, it relies on the fact that you have gone to Blockbuster before. So no, I cannot give him full points on that one. Color palette, it works fine. I enjoy the blues. I enjoy the orange, and his blonde hair in particular just going slowly going white makes me really happy for some reason. I think this Pokemon, there's one of the Pokemon Rangers that's also set in America. Oh, I played one of the Pokemon Rangers games too. It was really fun. I really enjoyed the Pokemon Ranger games. Also, I guess I like Doctrio in his team, whose hair resembles his as well. Are you implying that his hair is made out of volcanic ashes or whatever? I'm pretty sure that's what Alan Doctrio is meant to be. His jacket also seems to be like an authority uniform. He has the same color scheme as the building. Well, that makes a lot of sense. I like it. That also ties him. Not only does the jacket make him look closer to what a tech guy is, but it inches him closer to a little bit of world building, you know? A little bit of world building. Storytelling, you know? If you see the building and you see him, you probably know that he works in the building. I like that. So yeah, this would be a 9 out of 10. See, Chad? I don't need you anymore. I can do math now. I can do math, Chad! I can do math! This is a 9 out of 10. Once again, deducting points just for the single fact that his concept and his type representation relies on you knowing about that kind of stuff. But most people do. So I think it's pretty good. Actually, I feel like it should be the other way around. These two are very linked to each other. These two are very linked to each other, so I'm just gonna move it around. I think the concept is what makes or breaks the character, you know? I like Malane. I rate him a 9 out of 10 as well. Hell yeah, bitch. Hell yeah. All right. I'm gonna do the lightning round because, Chad, I'm genuinely tired. Chad, I'm genuinely tired. I wanna go to bed. I am sick, Chad. I'm sick. I'm sick and I'm tired and I wanna go home. And I was fat shame. I was fat shame at the shopping mall. So I really don't wanna. I feel really tired today. I got fat shame and it doesn't feel good. Anyway, so this is just straight up a baby. Chad. This is just literally child labor. We're gonna talk about the fact that in Pokemon, it's okay to have a baby. It's okay to have like literally a 4-year-old work as an Elite Four for some fucking reason. I mean, it makes sense on a world in which as soon as you turn 10, your parents kick you out. So I guess they got younger. I guess they went younger now. It's not like they got older with when they're supposed to be adventuring. They got younger. So we have just straight up a baby. Because, you know, child labor is okay, apparently. You know? It's just child labor. It's just child labor. I don't really know what the deal with her is, per se. Because they don't really do that much with her character in Scarlet and Violet. Other than, oh yeah, look, she's really young. And she can beat your ass. That's really about the depth of her character. There's nothing more to her than this just a child who's apparently really strong. You know? There's nothing more, nothing less. So in a very real sense, she's just a simple character. My problem is that when the concept is just baby, I am bored. Because here's the thing also. She's also meant to be to resemble in a very center way a Victorian child. You know, a sick Victorian child. Because when I was looking this up, when I was researching about what they could have thought of to come up with a character like this, she's apparently meant to be a locket. Like, that's her concept, and that's the reason why her key pouch is so big. She's meant to be a locket, in the sense that she's supposed to be the baby in the picture inside of the locket. You know how in the olden days they used to keep lockets to put pictures of people's children, well, your children, not people's children, your own children, your husband, your beloved. That's what she's meant to be. She's just meant to be a Victorian child. And for my money, this is not good enough. Not good enough. It makes me ever so slightly uncomfortable. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because, you know, the implications of child labor. But also, in general, just the fact that it's a bit boring. You know? She kind of stares at the camera like she's posing for a pic. I mean, I'm pretty sure she would. She seems to love the attention that being an Elite Four gets her. Do you also see how the champion treats Larry? She must also be treated the same way. Not really. Not really. You know why? Yes. We know that Gita has favoritism. She has favoritism. And I'm pretty sure that Poppy is meant to be her favorite. Poppy is meant to be her favorite. I mean that it does reflect the locket concept. You see, my issue with it is just, you know what I talked about earlier when it came to when it came to the beginning of the stream, when I talk about the concept and motif. And I said that concepts are too nebulous, or concepts are too like difficult to represent visually. It can be more of a detriment, you know? So the concept that she has as a character and as a design is a lot more, for the lack of a better way to say it, conceptual. It's meant to be a lot more imaginative. It's more. It's hard to imagine type of deal. So when you're working with a concept that is hard to represent visually, that is hard to represent in more than just a few words type of deal, it can work either one of two ways. Either when you're working with a concept that is meant to be that complex and you do it right, you're treated like a master. You're like, oh my god, I could have never thought of this. This is so good. This is genius. Lord, somebody sucked that man's cock because they did good. But somebody sucked that woman's clit, they did good. Same deal here. Same deal here. Problem is though, is that when it doesn't work out, when it doesn't look good, when you have to do mental gymnastics for you to figure out the concept, for you to figure out what's going on with her, that's when you get into tricky territory. Because, you know, some people could see it as like, okay, no, that's good, that's great. The fact that it makes you think. But for some others, that's just gonna look ridiculous. You know? That's just gonna look ridiculous. It's just gonna... When you do something like that, when the concept is so nebulous that it's hard to visualize it, a lot of people are just gonna go like, okay, so you just made a character and you just explain the reason why she's a baby. You know? It's something that happened to me with my next video that I'm gonna talk about. It's just like, when you make a character and then you make the writing for her later or for them later, it's just sorry. It can come across as a cop-out, you know? So you have to be really careful when it comes to concepts like that. But yeah. Jesus Christ. Thank you for the hydration, I appreciate it. True, I didn't say it was a good concept over a male, just saying that I can see how now you put it out. Yeah, I mean, you can see it. You can see it. But yeah. Also, color palette for her, I actually kind of like it. Her color palette is kind of the opposite of what's this name again? Wickstorm. Her color palette is the opposite of Wickstorm because it's very similar. It's a gray color with yellow. The difference here, and I put it in my video, but I'm gonna explain it with words now. The difference here is that, see how much brighter it is? The fact that it is brighter, the yellow is brighter, the gray is brighter, the metal bits that she does have are actually really shiny, rather than, you know, when you compare it to Wickstorm, his knight's armor is really dull. It can do a lot for you to enforce the character. You know, these are basically pastels, and pastels are usually related to babies, but because they're also brighter, it kind of gives her a more energetic feel. You know, it's more energetic. It feels like she's full of energy. Same with the metals, when it feels like a brand new. I feel like that's the thing. This feels like brand new clothes, like things that literally her mommy just bought yesterday and she's wearing them now because she really likes them, and she probably will wear them tomorrow because she really likes them, you know. But yeah, there's really nothing that much to say about it. For some reason, the character design on Scarlet and Violet seems to be just very simple, you know. they seem to be very simple, so that tends to mean that there's just really not that much to read into. Other than, you know, taking it at face value. So, concept. Okay, the concept is good, but there is just something wrong, which is the fact that it's just a little bit too nebulous to me. I don't think I would understand it just by looking at her. You know what I mean? But it's a good concept. It's a concept that is interesting. It's just not really that well executed. And maybe that's just a detriment of the concept in itself. As for the type representation, the type representation does... I mean, I can see it, right? I feel like the color palette is doing a lot for the type representation. For her being a steel type trainer, it does a lot for it. But if I had to say it just by it itself, just because she's so baby and she's so soft, I kind of have a hard time separating her from fairy types.
evening. Hi, Turn Angel. How you doing, sweetheart? How's it going? I'm pretty sure you probably have a different username, but YouTube has just decided that it's gonna show me your actual ad. So if you have a different name that you would like to know by, please let me know. But yeah, I feel like color palette and type representation you can just kind of go hand in hand. It's like, it's interesting because it's yellow and blue, same colors that Wakestorm has. And the colors also do sell the fact that she is indeed a steel type. She's indeed a steel type, so it makes a lot of sense. It's just, that's my problem with it. It's just the concept. It's just the fact that she's a baby. It's the fact that she's a baby what I don't really enjoy it. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable, you know? Not because I'm uncomfortable around children, not because characters can't be children. It's just, it feels like her inclusion in the game and in general, it just feels like shock value, you know? It feels like they just made it because it would be shocking to have a literal 4-year-old baby as part of the Elite Four, you know? It's just shock value. And for me, this type of shock value just is kind of cheap. It's just cheap. I don't really enjoy it that much. But hey, and that has nothing to do with character design. That's just personal opinion. Holly, because it's my name. Okay, hello, Holly. I hope you're having a good day. You're coming in with us ranking, doing a fashion and character design review for Pokemon Steel type trainers, and we're about to end. Actually, this is the second to last trainer, which is Poppy, the Elite Four of what's the name? Scarlet Violet. She's a wee baby with a big key and a bonnet. Yeah, that's what I mean, though. It's just a baby. The concept is baby. It's just baby. I feel like Galar really missed the chance to have a steel type specialist based on Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Maiden. Oh, okay, but here's the thing, though. They're probably saving it for the Legend CA game. The Legend CA version of Galar. They're probably basing it on that. Listen, if they made a Legends game that is supposed to be set in medieval times, I hope that they put the Iron Maiden in there. Because they have to. They have to. It's part of... It's not a real thing, by the way. The Iron Maiden is not a real construct. It wasn't actually an actual torture device that they made. It's literally something somebody made up in literature. When you look at the source of what the Iron Maiden is, it's literally just made up. Of course, I made it up, bro. But people like the idea. You didn't know, Pablo? The Iron Maiden wasn't actually a torture device. It's a made-up. It's fiction. Oh, I made the Iron Maiden this as a stoic woman. I thought you meant the torture device. But yeah, well, I mean, that's a little fun. That's a little tidbit for ya. The Iron Maiden wasn't actually a real torture device. It's fictional. It was in a fantasy book. I was hoping Legends CA will be set in a Stingfunk Kalos. Maybe that'll be Legends Galari's hope. Well, the thing is, okay, so here's a little history lesson for ya. Steampunk is not really France's thing. Like, I mean, vapor machines were a thing in France. Like, that was a thing for them. But when we think steampunk and we mean the steam era of technology, that is more so meant to be England. It's Britain, you know? It's Britain. So, for Galar, it being steampunk would work better, you know? But for France, not really. Because also France didn't really modernize as fast, you know? They didn't really modernize as fast as the rest of Europe did. I mean, bitches were not taking baths until way later. They did not take baths until way later than that. They did not discover the function of a bar of soap until way later than that. So yeah, unfortunately, I like your idea. I like, you know, I like the idea of steampunk for a Pokemon game, but it wouldn't have worked with the French. It would not have worked. They were too busy being French, right? They were too busy executing people and making a big deal of things that didn't matter. Hey, listen, we complain about the French a lot. We complain about the French. I'll hate the French here, you know? We don't like the French. But there's two things that the French did right. Well, there's actually three things. Three things that the French did right. Number one is Clear Obscure, Expedition 33. That's one thing that the French did right. Number two, Pokemon Legends CA. That is a really good thing that the French did right. And number three, and probably the best part about it, their working conditions. Say what you want about the French. Say whatever the fuck you want about the French. They have amazing work conditions. Bitches get a month off. On top of sick days. On top of vacations. On top of 6 days and vacation days. They straight up just get a month off. Nobody works. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be on August. Nobody works on August in France. Except for like people who actually want to work. Or people who are like essential workers. You know? So, for all that the French did wrong, for all that we make fun of them, they have the best working conditions. Livable wages. You know, care packages that are not bad. Once again, vacation days. A whole month off. Sick days that you don't even have to justify. You don't even have to go to the doctor to call for a sick day. That's what the French did, right? Why am I talking about this? I don't know. I don't know. Well, the politicians do fear the pueblo. That is true. The politicians do feel the people. They do fear the people. Because I mean, when you have the history of France in which the public, the populace, you know, the populace executed the monarchs, you know, they put them to the pike. I think as a politician, I would be scared too. I would be scared too. Jesus. I'm being fashionable? No, I'm sorry. I must disagree. I mean, I see your point, right? French is the self-proclaimed fashion capital. Because you know what? France could not stand the idea that anyone else could be more fashionable than them. And you know what they did? They said, and I quote, if you don't live in France, if you don't get certified in France, if you don't have your main studio in France, you cannot be a top creme de la creme fashion designer because you don't have the recognition of the academy that they have of high fashion. You cannot be a couturier. You cannot call yourself couture. You cannot call your fashion couture, your creations couture, and you cannot be a couturier if you don't follow their exact guidelines. Because you know what? One of the things that the French do best is being elitist. So, you know, I heavily disagree that they're fashionable. I think Japan's fashion is better, in my opinion. You know, I think Japan's fashion is better. And there's this thing about fashion when it comes to building stuff, right? Okay, here's the thing, Chad. Okay, little fashion tidbit for ya. Little fashion tidbit, because you know, I am still technically the fashion VTuber, right? I am technically still the fashion VTuber, despite the fact that I don't. Anyway, there's two categories when it comes to clothes for me. It's the basic pieces and the statement pieces. Most fashion that I tend to find here in Mexico are basic pieces. You know, t-shirts, shirts, pants, very basic stuff. They don't really tend to feel anything special, you know? And I personally enjoy statement pieces a lot. that's the thing that I like about fashion, statement pieces. And Japan, their main thing is just statement pieces. They are things that are so pretty, so unique, so beautiful. Organza jackets, pants made out of organza, transparent. Right now, the thing that's happening, their fashion fad right now is Y3K, which is like 2000s fashion, but in the future type of thing, like upgraded to the future, which is the reason why they're making like clothes with liquid organza, which literally looks like molten metal. Like it looks like liquid metal, you know? So to me, because Japan has very unique silhouettes and very unique fashion pieces that are just statement pieces that look really good when combined together, it just makes Japan better for me, you know? It just makes Japan better for me. I went to a French language in what? Sorry. I went to a French language immersion school for elementary school. This thing was affordable for the upper middle class back then. And thus my teachers was from France. They were very funny when they get snooty. Damn. I can't believe we have a rich person in here. I mean, let's be honest. When I was younger, I once was part of the middle high class, you know? When I was younger, I was part of the middle high class. We had a helper. I cannot really call her a maid because I don't think that maid was the really thing, but you know, we had help. We had somebody who cooked for us. We had somebody who cleaned for us, right? Not really a maid, something like that. La chacha, basically la chacha. We had a chacha. We had a girl that used to come and help us clean and help my mom cook, you know. But that, our fall from grace was severe though. It was severe. After I turned 12, we could no longer afford that. We could no longer have the money to afford that. And slowly, I'm getting poorer and poorer. But you know what? At least I own a home. At least I have a home. That's a thing that I can ask for. Anyway, so sorry, I got so off track. Apologies, Chad. Apologies. So this is a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Actually, no, it's a 9 out of 10. Sorry. Ooh. Not me forgetting my rankings. It's a 9 out of 10. It's perfectly functional. It works well. Nothing really to write home about though. Now we did not have one of those things, but a couple of my classmates did. Really? So what do you have as somebody who is supposed to be from the upper middle class? Do you have like an in-ground pool? Do you have a pool? Because that's like rich people stuff for me. That's rich people stuff for me. That is, you have a pool, you're rich. You have a giant garden, you're rich. Anyway, final thing. Final character. What is her name? I actually don't know because I never seen this character before. I didn't even know she existed until recently. What's her name? What's her name? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Amaris. Okay. It's Amaris. 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 I'm gonna go with Amaris because well she's supposed to be from Spain. So we have Amaris. Amaris. So this is literally just a Star Trek character. This is just Star Trek. Is it not, Chad? Is it not? Is it not somebody who works on the orbiter? Actually, she's from Unova. Oh, she's a New Yorker. Okay, I see. A New Yorker. I mean, it would explain actually. It would explain. Many theories she's Lenora's daughter. Lenora's? Well, actually, it would make sense because Lenora is married to a dim-witted, skinny-ass... Lenora is married to a dim-witted, skinny-ass researcher. So it would make sense that she turned out to be a nerd. It really makes sense that she turned out to be a nerd. You know why? Because I played Black and White not too long ago. And... I remember being deeply surprised to see her husband be just a skinny ass dim-witted. I don't know how he bagged that guy. I don't know how he picked up a lioness such as Lenora. But now that I think about it, it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, so once again, though, I'm pretty sure the concept is just space. Then them screws in her hair, though, they may or may not be. I mean, is she kind of crazy? Because I feel like if she's supposed to be like a little bit cray-cray, like she's kind of like, I don't know, maybe energetic. I don't really know that much about her. I haven't seen anything from the Blue Disc. Like, people moved on too quickly from the expansion of Scarlet and Violet, and immediately we all just moved on to Pokemon Legends CA. Like, nobody cared that much about the expansion to Scarlet and Violet, so I don't really know that much about her. I don't know about her. I don't know who she is. Sorry to this woman. All I know is that she gives me starstruck, you know? This is Star Trek. This is literally a space second commander, you know? Like, she gives Star Wars. And I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the vibe. She's supposed to look like she works in a spaceship, you know? For that matter, I think that's okay with the steel type of thing. Because usually when it comes to, like, once again, the captains of Star Trek, because I've seen some of the movie, not some of the movies, some episodes of that show, and most of the captains tend to be well versed in engineering, you know? So she also does give me engineer vibes, you know, astronaut, engineer, people who are supposed to know about that type of technology to, you know, to fly the goddamn spaceship, and she does kind of give that vibe. So I like the fact that that is like a just very subtle but straight up way to represent the steel type trainer. You know? It's just, yeah, of course, the second in command in a spaceships would know shit about engineering. And you guys are making a lot of reference about her hair, and that's what I really like about Pokemon. Like, people, I understand that this may be really campy for a lot of people, you know? I understand that this is campy. I understand that this is maybe something that's too much for people, right? But to me, this is fucking awesome, dude. To me, this is fucking awesome. For two things. Number one, silhouette. Silhouette. If there's something you can say about Pokemon, is that they have amazing silhouettes. You will never mistake one character for another. And the fact that they're willing to go this far for a character to make them unique makes me really happy. It makes me want to try the same with character design. Just unique hairstyles. But also, the other thing I like about the hair is the fact that I mean, she's clearly black. She's a black character. She is black-coded. She is meant to be black. Especially if Lenora is her mother, you know? So the fact that they made hair that not only looks like convincingly like a steel type, but hair that is accurate to what black hair would be, which, by the way, black hair is so beautiful, in my opinion. Black hairstyles are amazing. Because the thing about their hair, about 4C hair, is that it's actually very malleable. You can do a lot with it. And if you ever see African American hairstyles, you will notice immediately that they tend to look really regal. They tend to look really intricate. They can have different shapes. Their hair can be twisted or braided in a way that looks like a beautiful, gorgeous updo. Like, have you ever seen Arcane? Like Mel from Arcane? Hold on. Mel Arcane. Oh, that's a start. Let's just do me a favor and look at Mel from Arcane. Mel from Arcane. This is not what I was looking for, actually. where's the concept I was looking for? That is not it. Where's it? God, I didn't realize that she was actually fucking skinny. But anyway, I'm gonna grab this. Is this? Oh no, that's fan art. Okay. I didn't know that was fan art. Can I get a picture that's actually high res, please? In a picture that's actually high res. Thank you. Jesus Christ. There you go. Actually, this is a turnaround. Hold on. There you go. Look. Look at this shit. Look at how beautiful sculpted it is. I just love this about just like black hairstyles in general. They can be so sculpted. They can be any shape. And they really just lend themselves so well for the things that Pokemon likes to do. You know? You know? It's just what Pokemon likes to do. So, the hair is just twisted in a beautiful updo. Look at this rose, how pretty it is, how it coils and tangles around each other. And the fact that they can put like, you know, beads and golden bits on it, it's so pretty. It's just so pretty. Black hair is gorgeous. It is so gorgeous to me. Which is the reason why one of my characters for the series that I'm going to be doing, which is making my own Gymleaders, one of my characters is going to be black. Because I really want to play with this. Like, it's so fun. It's so fun. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be twists or braids, but, you know, same difference. Dreadlocks. Well, not same difference, because that makes it sound in culture. You know, dreadlocks, twists, braids. They are so good. They look awesome. And I really want to play with this, because I feel like, because they can be shaped into anything, it's a lot of fun to play. And I don't know why people say that black hair looks ugly or bad. It's just, they just don't know anything. They just don't know anything. This is just gorgeous. I love it. I love Mel. It's gorgeous. But anyway, that detracts from this. So, those braids. I know, right? I know, right, Holly? It's so pretty. Also, the Ghost type Gymleader from Paldea is a great epic from hairstyles. Oh, right. I know which one you're talking about. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me pull her up. Let me pull her up because I love her hair too. I love her hair too. Oh, wow. Oh. What? Rhyme. Yeah, her name is Rhyme. Just look at this shit. Look at how good this is. Look how good this is. Just literally twists that, you know, coil and form a hand. Isn't that so fucking cool? It's a skeleton man. It's so cool. God damn it, it's so cool. I don't know, black hair is amazing. And people are stupid when they don't see it, when they don't see the potential on it. They just know what to do with it. They underestimated it. You know what it is that a lot of people think that black hair in general and 4C type of hair, curls in general, are hard to draw. You know? And I understand why. You know? I understand why people think that they're hard to draw. But the thing is you can do simplification. You don't have to draw every single curl. You don't have to draw every single hairstyle on the twist. You can just do stuff like this. Like genuinely, if you step away for a moment, it just looks like she has like a chorizo. This looks like a chorizo or like strands of bread. But because you have the context of her skin tone, you have the cultural context behind all of this, you can also see that this is just hair. This is just 4C hair. This is a dreadlock. You know? They're dreadlocks. So it's not that hard. It's just people are so set in their ways and I hate it.
I hate it. You need to step outside your comfort zone. Oh god. I'm dying. Oh. One final thing I want to point out for her before we move to grading. Final thing. So, one of you brought up the point that you don't understand why she has a pocket watch. I think it's very simple. I think it's a very simple thing. That's just effective storytelling. So, people who keep pocket watches, right? When you think of the connotation of having a pocket watch, you think about somebody who has to constantly look at the time. Think about the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. Somebody who's anxious to be on time, who likes to be on time. And what type of people like to be on time? People who are strict. People who are punctual. People who have an obsession with being perfect. Now, being punctual in itself doesn't like, you know, doesn't just imply that you want to be perfect, you know? But wanting to be punctual is wanting to be good with somebody, you know? Because when you are punctual, it's because you're showing respect for another person's times, you know? So it is about respect. It is about, you know, people who stick by the rules. That's essentially what it means. A pocket watch can be a shorthand for people who are, in a very real way, just sticklers for the rules. Good point, I forgot about that. I mean, it's just small little things. Once again, it also depends on your perception of things. Because if you know Alice in Wonderland, you might not know that that's what it kind of means. And also, pocket watches have also a very distinct history with elegance. And somebody who wants to appear professional and stuff like that might wear one. I mean, nowadays you might look corny if you wear one. But you know, it is what it is. Killing the stress and some chorizos. I know, right? Yeah, I just really like her hair. The hair is what makes it for me. She could look kind of boring with everything that is going on, but the hair is just so. So, final scoring. Concept. She says she's literally a space commander. She's the space engineer of a spaceship. I really enjoy it. That's fun. It's really fun. Nothing would seem like in Pokemon. Type representation. It really is just the hair. Sure, the concept has connotations. Could have connotations about field type, but the hair, bitch. The hair, bitch. The hair is just the hair. The hair really just sells it. It really lets me know, okay, this is a steel type. Done dealio. And color palette, I mean... the hair and watching. Yeah, the watching also does it. You're so right. The watching also does it. And you know what? I wasn't going to give full points for the color palette, but I would say it's monotone. It is a monotone color palette. And not to say that it's a boring color palette, it's just monotone. It's one color all over with the accent of white. And personally, it's really not that interesting to me. I prefer when things are more colorful. But monotone, once again, can do a lot to tell you about a person. A person who usually wears stuff that is monotone, stuff that goes this really well together, is a person who, either one of two things. A person who has, once again, stickler by the rules. Everything has to match. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be the same color. If it's even one shade, if it's even one shade off, people are gonna get mad. You know? People are gonna get mad. And also, it's another thing of, this is just a uniform, right? It's a uniform. And once again, if it's a uniform that she is wearing,
like it came from the box, you know? Stickler by the rules. She wears it how it came from the box. But yeah, like I said, it's, you know what? I'm just gonna give her a 10 out of 10. Because even though I don't like monotone, that's just my personal preference. And what I'm doing right now is critique at the side. And I have to be able to see the good on it. And the good on it is, the good is that it serves her character very well. It sells the character. Exactly, Holly. It sells the character too well. So I have to give it to her, even if I don't like it that much. I have to give it to her. So overall, 10 out of 10. Hold on, let me just... 10 out of 10. Nothing else to complain about, Your Honor. Nothing else to complain about. Oh. Ow. You know, steel type, the steel type category of their character designs tends to have really high highs and very low lows, in my opinion. They tend to be, well, not low lows. They tend to be either mediocre or really good, which overall makes the steel type good. But I just think that they haven't started scratching the surface of what could a steel type trainer be, you know, when in terms of their profession and in terms of who they are as people, you know. It's just, I'm tired of them sharing the same stuff. I'm tired of them reheating nachos from rock type and ground type. Like go, Mary. There's other things. Once again, why is there not a blacksmith gym leader? It's such an obvious choice for a steel type trainer. Anyway, Chad, that was the stream. So, did you enjoy it? Do you have fun, Chad? Do you had fun, Chad? Did you learn something new? Something that you maybe didn't think about? And if you did, what was it? Let me know. Honestly, I really enjoy doing these a lot. I really enjoy screaming about things that literally nobody else cares about. I just tend to look too much, you know? I tend to look too much. I stare way too much at pixels. And that happens to make me really good at spotting things that most people don't pick up. Not gonna lie, I had more fun than I expected. So yeah, I'm glad that you find it enjoyable. I love rambling about this type of stuff. I love character design. I wanted to be a character designer since I was a kid. So I just love it a lot. It is one of my passions. Fashion and character design are my two biggest passions in this life. Next to men. I like men. But yeah, anyway, Chad, I think this is where we gonna end this stream because I'm actually really fucking tired. I'm tired and I want to go to bed and I don't want to think about how badly I was fat shamed today. So, yeah. But I'm glad you guys had fun. And remember, by the way, oh, one last thing. So, Chad, this next 2 weeks, I'm gonna be very sparse in streams. Why? Well, Chad, as you know, and we talked about a couple streams ago, is because I am making videos to grow the channel and my brain just cannot focus in two things at the same time. I either stream consistently or make videos consistently. The compromise is I do 2 to 3 weeks from streaming, just streaming, doing nothing else but streaming, and I dedicate 2 weeks to make a video, you know, to give you video content to keep growing the channel and have at least one video once a month. That being said, this next 2 weeks, more or less, it depends on how long it takes me to make the video, but these next 2 weeks of December, we're only going to have one stream a week. Why? Because I need to focus on my next video. It's a video that's been coming along for a very long time. I said I was gonna do this video in June, and it's now December. You let me know how much it took to make it. But yeah, I'm gonna be focusing on that. So there's only gonna be one stream a week. I will let you know when the stream is going to be, because it really depends on my mood. Either if it's gonna be on Friday or Sunday, I will let you know. I will let you know. But just so that you guys know what's going on, just so that you guys know what's coming up in the pipeline, you guys know what's coming up. Here is a little teaser. Here's a little teaser for you. This is the thumbnail of the video. This is the thumbnail of the video. And the title is, I made the water type, the water gym leader, Pokemon won't. I hope you look forward to it. I had a lot of fun designing this character. It's a bold claim. It's a bold claim. I'm excited anyway. Any thoughts, chat? Any thoughts? From just the silhouette? From just the silhouette, chat? What rank would you give it? From just the silhouette alone? From what you can see alone? What do you think? I'm actually really excited to know what your thoughts are on this character. Like, anything that comes up in mind while just looking at them? Have a Pokeball face, 9 out of 10. Fair enough, I guess. That could not be more Pokemon. I am immediately intrigued. Thank God. Thank God. I'm excited. And also, by the way, full disclosure, I don't expect anyone to watch this video. I'm gonna be so real with you. There's two types of... When it comes to a content creator, there's two types of videos. Videos to grow. Videos to please the algorithm and please the crowd. You know? And then there is videos for your core audience and for your soul. You know? You know? There's two types of videos. Videos that you do to grow and to please the crowd. Videos that you do for your soul and your community. And I know this video is gonna be for my soul and for my Fluffelier, which is you guys, the people who come watch me on stream. The people who support either just lurking or just watching the videos but not really commenting. Those are the people that this video is for. Because I don't expect this video to do good outside of my core audience. And that's okay. That's fine. We gotta have one. We gotta have one that's for the soul at least once in a while. But yeah, anyway, chan, I'm gonna end the stream here. I hope you have a lovely day, lovely night. Thank you all so much for choosing me as your entertainment for today. I hope you look forward to the video. I'll see you next week. And whichever day the stream is going to be, like I said, I will let you know which day it's going to be. But for the most part, I go back to editing hell. Wish me luck, chan. Have a lovely day, guys. Take care. And remember, the Cherry Van Blossom Boutique always appreciates you. Mwah. Bye, chan. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your week. And I am so sorry if you have to work. Thank you for being here, Holly, as well. Thank you, thank you. Bye, chat. Love you.